Hello there, storytellers and dreamers. My name is Michael, and today we are delving into a new subject that I have brought up with the guys at the Ember of Dreams community. I am back on this big channel, and we are going to talk about role playing. Now, I want to start a video series called Roleplay 101, in which I explain you how exactly you roleplay in a video game, alright? So, without further ado, I would really like to ask you to check out the article in the description below, where you will find everything that I will explain in this video. If you prefer to read it, you can go in the description below and check it out. Now, let's delve right into this. What exactly is role-playing? Now, role-playing refers to the changing of one's behavior to assume a role, either unconsciously to fill a social role, or consciously to act out an adopted role. While the Oxford English Dictionary offers a definition of role-playing as the changing of one's behavior to fulfill a social role, in the field of psychology the term is used more loosely. Alright, so I want to really go really deep into why I'm doing fanfiction and all that stuff, which is kind of bound with role-playing together really closely, right? So it's a big part of the MMO world, MMO gaming world. So role-playing is also defined as collective fanfiction or storytelling, story composing, whatever you want to call it. Role-playing has been in our culture for hundreds of years, from historic reenactments to psychological studies to simulation and training and improvisational theater, who was first started in the 16th century, which is basically the period of the Commedia dell'arte, the tradition. However, the modern improvisational theater began in the classroom with the theater games of Viola Spolin and Keith Johnstone in the 1950s. Alright, so what exactly I want to talk about? Well, I will give you a brief historic background, and we will go into role-playing games. As I've said, there's a lot of history back. Role-playing has been used also in amusement. Many children participate in a form of role-playing known as make-believe, wherein they adopt certain roles, such as a doctor, and act out their roles in character. Sometimes make-believe adopts an oppositional nature, resulting in games such as Cops and Robbers. In entertainment, historical reenactment, as I said, has been practiced by adults for millennia. The ancient Romans, Han Chinese, the medieval Europeans all enjoyed occasionally organizing events in which everyone pretended to be from an earlier age, and entertainment appears to have been the primary purpose of these activities. Within the 20th century, historical reenactment has often been pursued as a hobby. Improvisational theater dates back to the Commedia dell'arte tradition of the 16th century, as I've previously said, and the modern improvisational theater began in the classroom with theater games of Viola Spolin and Keith Johnstone in the 1950s. Viola Spolin, who was one of the founders of the famous comedy troupe Second City, insisted that her exercises were games and that they involved role-playing as early as 1946. She accurately judged role-playing in the theater as rehearsal and actor training, or the playing of the role of actors, versus theater roles, but many now use her games for fun in their own right. In training, role-playing may also refer to training where people rehearse situations in preparation for a future performance and to improve their abilities within a role. The most common examples are occupational training role-plays, educational role-plays exercises, and certain military war games. Simulation, now this kind of ties itself into the training part. One of the first uses of computers was to simulate reality around its participants in order to roleplay the flying of aircraft. Flight simulators used computers to solve the equations of flight and train future pilots. I don't know how to spell that word. Words are hard. The army began full-time role-playing simulations with soldiers using computers both within full-scale training exercises and for training in numerous specific tasks under wartime conditions. Examples include weapon firing, vehicle simulators, and control station mock-ups. Research methods have also been developed through role-playing. Role-playing may also refer to the technique commonly used by researchers studying interpersonal behavior by assigning research participants to particular roles and instructing the participants to act as if a specific set of conditions were true. This technique of assigning and taking roles in psychological research has a long history. It has been used in the early classic social psychological experiments by Kurt Lewin, who lived between 1939 and 1997, Stanley Milgram, 1963, and Philip Zimbardo. Herbert Kellman suggested that role-playing might be the most promising source of research methods alternative to the methods using deception. That is a statement from Kellman back in 1965. Let's jump to the main stuff, the thing you're here for. You're gamers. Why would you care about history? Because history is important, you fuck-ups. No, I mean, really, why am I interested in showing you what role-playing is about? Because role-playing is a really great experience, a really great activity. So let's just dive in and talk about role-playing games. Now, a role-playing game, RPG, is a game in which players assume the roles of characters in a fictional setting, such as Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, all the Elder Scrolls games, all the Fallout games, even The Witcher and Assassin's Creed are RPGs, technically. Alright, so players take responsibility for acting out these roles within a narrative, either through literal acting or through a process of structured decision-making or character development. Actions taken within many games succeed or fail according to a formal system of rules and guidelines. There are several forms of RPG. The original form, sometimes called the tabletop RPG, is conducted through discussion, whereas in live-action role-playing games, or LARP, pretty popular and was a major thing on the internet at one point, mainly the discussions and the satiric displays of LARPing. Players physically perform their characters' actions. In both of these forms, an arranger called a game master usually decides on the rules and the setting to be used, and what settings to be used, acting as a referee, while each of the other players plays the role of a single character. Several varieties of RPG also exist in the electronic media, such as multiplayer text-based mods and their graphic-based successors, massively multiplayer online role-playing games, or MMORPGs, really popular these days. Just to count off some titles, there's Star Trek Online, there's Star Wars: The Old Republic, there's World of Warcraft, obviously, there's WildStar. I think WildStar is still online. I don't know if it died yet. I hope not. It was quite a good game. Anyway, role-playing games also include single-player role-playing video games in which players control a character or team who undertake quests and may include capabilities that advance using statistical mechanics. That is the case of Fallout, Skyrim, the Witcher series, the every other medieval type of game, single player game, not the RTS. That's a whole other genre. No, I mean stuff in the way that Skyrim or Oblivion or Diablo was. Diablo's also an RPG. These games often share settings and rules with tabletop RPGs, but emphasize character advancement more than collaborative storytelling. Despite this variety of forms, some game forms, such as trading card games and board games, that are related to role-playing games may not be included. Role-playing activity may sometimes be present in such games, but it is not the primary focus. The term is also sometimes used to describe role-playing simulation games and exercises used in teaching, training, and academic research, as I have previously said. This is like the very beginning, the little bit of something to steer your attention towards role-playing. And from the next episode, I will be actually talking about real RPGs and how to role-play. Like this video, share it so we can like really start up this show and show everybody how beautiful RP is. I will be going into detail in how fanfiction works as well, so stay tuned for that as well. Share it, like it, and don't forget to comment in the comment section below exactly what do you want from us. What do you want from here to hear from me about role playing? And do not forget, write your stories in the annals of the internet. I've been Michael from Sagas and Stories, and keep on watching and keep on dreaming.